Hello, Blizzard fans! This is Falcon Paladin coming to you with yet another Daily Blizzard upload. This is a game between Tang and Nemesis on Cactus Valley, the latter edition. Now, this is going to be the grand finale of Tang's March to Grandmaster. And I don't mean this is the game that actually got him promoted to Grandmaster, just this is going to be the final game that I cast, assuming that Tang wins, and I really hope that he does, because I'm a Zerg player, and I kind of hate the Protoss race, but don't tell any of my Protoss viewers. Now this is kind of confusing, because I cast another Tang versus Protoss game, where the Protoss player was Nemesis. I'm going to assume it's the same guy, just because sometimes on ladder, especially early on, when you're trying to get placed early, you run into the same guys over and over. But this is a different game because it's on a different map, so I promise you some different shenanigans than what you saw in the first game of Nemesis, which was some Dark Templar and some Blinkstalker attacks that eventually ended in a Tang victory. So hopefully it's the same outcome, but not the exact same build that we see from Nemesis or from Tang. We like to see things mixed up here a little bit. So Tang is up here in the top left. He is our blue Zerg player, and in the bottom right is our red Terran red Protoss. Whew, let's try that again. Top left is Tang, our blue Zerg player, and bottom right is Nemesis, our red Protoss player. Hey, I got it right the second time. Here comes the pylon block. Tang says, I have no problem with that. My Zerglings will be out momentarily to handle that problem. The pylon does actually finish, though. It doesn't get canceled. So here come the Zerglings, just a couple of them. The probe says, oh boy, I'm going to get attacked by Zerglings. Time to get on out of there. Meanwhile, over here we have a forge and a gateway and a nexus. So forge, fast, expand from Nemesis. Wow, gateway going down as well. He really does not want this expansion to go down at all. 2 Zerglings is not quite enough to kill this before it actually comes up. Interesting fact, but with the Queen DPS, maybe it is. We'll have to see. Taking down the pylon does. Yeah, gateway is gonna die. Yes, and it does get cancelled at the last second, so that's a mark of a good player. Our friend Nemesis did actually cancel that at the last second, preventing that hatchery from going down until it absolutely needed to. Third base going down there from Tang. And meanwhile, over here, what do we have? Cybercore. Fairly standard stuff. Zergling kind of chasing this probe around. Is he going to see it, though, is the question. Yes, he does see it. But he chooses actually not to chase it. I don't know if Tang actually, literally saw that or not, but it was within his vision anyway. So here comes the Zergling, going to scout around, check to see what he can see. We are getting a sentry out to deal with any crazy all-in shenanigans. Force fields are great to prevent that kind of crazy stuff. Photon cannon set far enough away that I think roaches aren't able to get it. We'll have to see if there is a roach attack, what actually happens with that cannon later on. So Tang on his 3 bases, droning up like crazy, like he likes to do, recognizing there will be no crazy shenanigans coming out from the Protoss player with that gateway block. I mean, that slowed him down a little bit. Has he actually scouted anything of the Protoss? Yeah, Overlord has seen that Cybercore. He sees the gas, so that helps him get some information. He knows what's going on. For us, we can see the other gas is not taken, which implies some kind of aggression from our Protoss player. If all the gas have been taken, all 4, that means it's a tech up. It's going to be maybe some Stargate play or some Link Colossus. But if all but 1 gas has been taken, the build is going to be a little bit more aggressive, maybe a 7-gate, some Blinkstalker harass, things like that. So we'll have to see what's actually going to come up here for our Protoss player. Mostly gateways and a robo facility. Okay, so maybe, maybe something like an Immortal Sentry attack. Mortal Sentry Stalker, something like that. Warp Prism. Okay, I forgot about the Warp Prism. So the Warp Prism is going to be used for some harassment here. Might warp in some DTs, some Zealots into the mineral line of our hero Tang, which would be unfortunate, but I think he can handle that. We'll have to see. Man, there is nothing here for Nemesis at the front door at the 8-minute mark. Holy cow. He has a Sentry and a Photon Cannon, just barely got his Mothership Core. I mean, if Zerglings came in here or like a Baling Bust attacked, he would be done for, but Tang is actually feeling a little more macro-oriented today. He wants to get his army up as fast as humanly possible, and really, who can blame him? Because economy is really good. Against Protoss, it helps you defend, it helps you attack. Pretty much what you want to do at all points in time. I know that's a little self-evident, but yeah, it's still the truth. So, what do we have over here? Hidden probe, scouting things out, and here comes the Warp Prism. He's got Zealots in there. Warp Prism moving on up, pretty much heading for the main, I would say. of Tang and Mothership Core bravely heading out. So slow, can't really run away from anything that wants to kill it except Queens off creep. And what is Nemesis planning on doing? Gateways are up. We have Warp Gate now. Nothing else coming out of the Robo facility. And Warp Prism's coming right on in. Going to try to snipe down this Queen, I have to assume. But roaches are popping out instantly. Oh, man. What timing on those roaches? That was dumb. Stalkers warp in, though. Oh, boy. Queen running away. Basically trying to get sniped down by these Stalkers. Stalkers trying to take down the roaches as well. Some good micro there. The Queen does actually die, which means this Warp Prism cannot be killed. Well, I guess by that Queen, though. Never mind. Roaches coming in, but they're outnumbered by the Stalkers. Some good micro focusing down one at a time is a smart play by Tang. But, man, another round of Stalkers comes in. So dangerous. Now the Queen tries to snap down the Warp Prism, but it's a little bit too little, too late. Still alive. Even the Mothership Core getting in on the action, sniping things down. There are Overseers to deal with any Dark Templar that warp in, but none of those, unfortunately. Stalkers doing tons of damage, taking down so many roaches. Mothership Core actually has a kill as well, trying to get sniped down by this Queen, but another warping of Stalkers comes down. The fact that this Warp Prism is still alive is a major thorn in Tang's side. If he can survive this, he might be okay, but man, it looks bad right now. Roach count actually getting up pretty high, sniping down a lot of these Stalkers one by one, forcing the retreat of that Warp Prism. And the Mothership Core is still alive, still trying to take down drones. Another drop actually back here, might be able to kill a couple more workers. Good response there time. Tang gets it out of there before it can die, and a good pickup from Nemesis. Mothership Core now might actually die to this Queen. Yeah, pretty much left there to die, unfortunately, unless the Queen can be sniped off by the people or the Stalkers inside that Warp Prism. They are not people. Oh, it actually does manage to escape because Queens are so slow off creep. No, it goes back and decides actually to get one more attack off and suicides. So Tang held that off. He did not die, which is pretty much the goal, as Day 9 says in Starcraft 2, don't die. Income tab shows 61 to 44 harvesters, so he's actually pretty okay economically. He stayed alive through that whole thing. He managed to be droning as well. The Protoss player is focusing a lot on this. Can't really drone or probe up anything beyond where he is, just because he's pretty much saturated on 2 bases and he doesn't have a 3rd base yet. He can't take it because Tang is pooping on his 3rd. A huge swell of roaches and the counterattack coming up. Tang is not pleased by that attack at all. He lost a lot of stuff and he wants revenge. So here come the roaches moving on up. Is he going to go ahead and take out this 3rd base that doesn't exist? No, he is not. And where's that probe headed, actually? Is he scouting? I don't know, but the roach is coming on up. They're going to snipe down that forge. That's a huge pickup. Coming on up. Going to take down the photon cannon as well as possible, but no, the sentries come to life. Force fields push everybody away. Roaches are getting hammered down by this immortal. Just pretty much doing tons of damage to those armored roaches. Kind of moving away, but coming back in is Tang. I don't know if that was a good choice. He lost a few more roaches for pretty much nothing there. But he does manage to get out of there alive and does not manage to kill Nemesis. But he did scare him. I guess putting some fear of God into your opponent is something you want to do as well as a Zerg player. Again, did not wait for the Protoss player to move out. Instead, he came to him, came up that ramp, did as much damage as he could, and then backed off. So, smart play. But Immortals are really good against roaches, especially if they can stay behind force fields. And hey, hidden Nexus, actually. Nemesis is taking a ninja 3rd base. Very interesting, very smart, I would say. I don't know if I would expect that if I was a Zerg player. So here comes the roach moving on up, sniping stuff down, everything dying. Yep, Stalkers cannot handle this number of roaches, especially with +1 upgrades. The Stalker has no armor upgrade or shield upgrade to speak of. Scouting this out is a probe. He's likely going to die as these roaches move on by. Yes, Boosh gets taken down. Zelnanga Watchtower is now temporarily Tang's. Hydra's coming out. He loves his Roach Hydra composition. We'll see what the answer is from Nemesis. Can he do this or not? Immediately, Colossus begins building. He knows what's going on. Also trying to get that range. Roach is coming on in. Trying to bait some force fields. Gets a pylon. Smart move. And now that the Hydralisks are here, the attack can begin. He pretty much is just going to keep a contain, it looks like here, though. Nope, he's moving on up instead. Tries to get that gateway. Can he get it is the good question. He has good range, good attacks with +2 upgrades now. And yes, the gateway goes down. Trying to move in, baiting some more force fields. A roach dies, but that's pretty good. There are so many sentries here, though, man. They can run a force field. They can pretty much force field infinitely if they want to. Overseer coming on in. Where is that Colossus? It's being chrono boosted, but it's not quite here yet. Everybody outside the force fields. Desperate force fields being thrown down by Nemesis. And, yep. Even a contamination going down on that warp gate. So the Overseers pretty much not really detecting anything, but really throwing down a contamination on that gateway is very smart. This third base is still unscouted, I believe. I mean, it'd probably be dead if it was scouted. Yep. Zerg player does not know that they are there. Tang moving up with another Roach Hydra attack. He is getting Corruptors. He knows there are probably Colossus on the way at this point. What can they do is the question. This Colossus really needs to stay in the back. Already has a kill. Does he have range upgrade yet? Not quite there, but the Chrono Boost means it will be there momentarily. Roaches and Hydras moving around that force field. Choosing to come in, and every time he does, he loses a few more guys. He is kind of trading some Zealots there, but I don't know if this is a good position for Tang to be in. Again, he is aggressive. Again, he really wants to win these games by being forceful, but the force fields are good. There are Colossus. They have range at this point. I mean, there you go. Losing a few more Hydras and Roaches. Kind of a tough spot to be in. Overseer dies. Corruptor takes a few hits, a few pot shots. Fourth base going down now. I guess that is a benefit to being aggressive, though, is you can pretty much expand behind this as much as you want as a Zerg player, just knowing that the Protoss player doesn't want to move out against this. I mean, did he even get anything in that attack? No, not really. I guess he did manage to snipe down the Colossus. That was a good move. Good job, Corruptors. Taking down the Colossus is your entire function at this point. And this base is still up and going. Man, 2 gas and an extra 12 guys on minerals is fantastic for Nemesis here. Tang checking. Is there a third base here? No, there is not a third base here. Okay, I've got him contained, he says. I have Nemesis stuck on these 2 bases. I feel very strong about that. But unfortunately for you, Tang, there is a secret base you don't know about. So hopefully you can win this game anyway. Photon Overcharge goes on down. A little bit premature, but Tang knows he doesn't really want to go in there. Trying to kind of snipe down that Cybernetics core from down below, but feels it's not really worth it getting smacked on from that Photon Overcharge, so instead backs off. More and more reinforcements coming out. It is +2, +1 upgrades now. He is pretty much maxed out at 199, 197 of 200. He has to attack. I mean, sitting here with a bank is nice and all, but you pretty much want to maybe attack and then remax. Is something you can try. Tang, if he goes in there, just between these 2 rocks is kind of the killing floor. He doesn't want to go in. There are 2 Colossus now with +1 upgrades with that range upgrade. More Stalkers coming in. Immortals in that composition as well. Comes in, baiting down force fields again, and get more and more Roaches die. It's just this is a place you go as a Zerg player to be killed. Observer coming in, scouts out the exact composition of what he is dealing with. Tang says, is there a base over here? No, there's not. Where the heck is there a base for my opponent that I don't know about? I feel like he should be running out of units. Checks here. Is there a base? No. Checks here. Oh, snap. There's a base over here. Immediately sends over all his Roaches and Hydras to take down that Ninja expansion. And what's Nemesis' response going to be? Is he going to try to save it? He knows the army's left. He knows where they're going now. And the answer is going to be throw down a pylon. But the race against time has begun. And no, it looks like he's just going to go for the... maybe for a base... Yes, for the base race. Heading up directly to Tang's base of operations. And the Roaches and Hydras come on in here very smartly, getting a concave first, not single file, moving on in. Getting up close, immediately sniping the Nexus down in just 3 or 4 volleys. Also killing every single worker here, not letting any of them escape. Fantastic play, but here comes the base trade from Nemesis. Says, you're going to take my expansion, I will take out everything that you own. And the entire army for Tang is down here. Oh no! What's going to happen? Queen dies. Roach Warren getting sniped down immediately. I said that, but instead, no. It actually survives for just a little bit. We're actually more interested in going after workers at this point, which is probably pretty smart for Nemesis. Does actually manage to focus down the Hydralisk Den, which is huge. Roach Warren's still alive. I don't know about that choice. The Death Ball is rolling through here. A bunch of static defense being thrown out by Tang, desperately trying to get up Spine Crawlers, but no, they are too slow to build. Base trade going down here from Tang. He says, okay, I will take out your base then. We'll see who wins this race. So many Spine Crawlers, but they're all getting destroyed. The Spire getting focused down as well. Even Dark Templar coming in to join in the fun, which is kind of huge. They do a lot of DPS to pretty much everything, but I guess, you know, 3 Colossus Immortals with +2 upgrades is enough as well. So right now it's basically 3 base to 1 base. Roaches and Hydras killing everything, taking down this cyber robotics facility. Rather, getting the Dark Shrine. Smart move on Tang's part. All these eggs are full of roaches, and I think they might all die instantly. Are they going to hatch? Yes, they do hatch. Oh, they got force fielded out, and every single roach dies. Excellent micro there from Nemesis. Getting on in, taking down the extractor. Boy, howdy. Just tough stuff. And yeah, Tang says, I'm out of here. I did not actually take down the Nexus, but there's nothing to really mine from here anyway. I need to defend. This death ball is super scary. Nemesis does take a base up here, actually, which is interesting. And Tang is taking some insurance hatcheries over along this side. He has a pretty big bank, 1,800 minerals and 1,600 gas. So he's not going to starve to death anytime soon, but he needs to defend. Oh, Dark Templar are going to town on these hatcheries. Will they get it? It looks like they're going to. There's nothing that can attack anywhere near. Throwing down a Spore Crawler to defend against this attack from the Dark Templars that is likely coming next. The hatchery does fall. All these workers cannot go back there or they will die. And what's the answer going to be? Dark Templar probably should take down the spawning pool as well, just to prevent future tech from our Zerg player. And yes, 2 of them going to town on that. One of them moving up here, seeing, oh, there's a Spore Crawler. I don't want to attack into there. Let's just see what we can kill back here at these bases instead. And taking time to kill those Broodlings, which is kind of a waste, I would argue, but whatever. They're heading on down. There are 4 of them. They are strong. They have +2 upgrades. Are they going to get surrounded? Oh, they got a little bit too close to the Spore Crawler. 3 of them died. 1 of them is still alive. He says, oh, my brethren, what happened to you? Oh, that was terrible. Oh, Hallucinated Colossus coming on in. And here comes a big attack. Death Ball against Death Ball. Corruptors against Roaches, Hydras against Stalkers and Immortals and Sentries. Sentries throwing down force fields. There is Time Warp going down as well. Fantastically force fielded off. The Corruptors doing tons of damage to the Colossus. Pretty much ignoring the hallucinated ones. I think they can be detected by the Spore Crawler, perhaps, but the ground army is still pretty big for Nemesis. There's a Spine Crawler going to work, taking out a Sentry. That's huge. Queen coming into attack as well. Hydras are left, but there are so many Stalkers left. All the Immortals are dead, which is nice. The Blink Stalkers blinking back. They are forced to retreat in the face of these 2-2 Hydralisks, and they head on home, blinking as fast as they possibly can. On the creep, they are slower, I think, than Roaches and Hydras. It looked like that they were. And zooming back in, that was a huge battle that Tang barely managed to hold off. But he's got to feel pretty comfortable. He does have this base. He does have these other 2 bases he's not really mining from right now. Yeah, let's look at the income tab. 19 to 16 harvesters. So pretty close. We've kind of reset the game here at 26 minutes. It is a 1-base Protoss to a 1-base Zerg. He does have a spawning pool back. He's getting a Spire. Interesting choice. He has a lair, wants a Spire. Maybe for more Corruptors, possibly. He doesn't know if there are more Colossus coming or not, to be honest. This guy, is he long distance? No, I think he's just scouting. He's not really long distance harvesting. There's nothing to harvest from up here. So, yeah, Tang kind of sitting back on his haunches. Not quite sure what to do, but he knows he needs to defend. There are a lot of Zerglings. Speed upgrade is not quite here yet. He needs these against the Stalkers, just because if they can get a surround on those Stalkers, they will die. Any upgrades? Yes, +2 armor upgrades for the Zerglings will help them survive a little bit longer. Moving up the Spine Crawler, moving up the Spore Crawler, and here we go. Zerglings trying to get in here. Colossus trying to distract attacks, getting a pretty good surround actually around the left side and the front side, taking down several of these Blink Stalkers, and then heading on back. He really needs speed to actually finish these off. Not great micro from Nemesis, but nonetheless, he has a bunch of Stalkers left, and they are pretty dangerous. There are a few Hydras, but he can't make any more because it doesn't have a Hydralisk den. These ones are actually from the previous attack. I'm pretty sure that is the case. Yes, it is. So here comes the attack. Speed just finished, just in time. The Zerglings are going to try to get a swoop around and surround on these guys. Hydralisk, Mutalisks here as well, raining down from above, trying to take down these sentries first of all. Really focusing them down. More Mutalisks coming from the right side. Zerglings are very fast. Hard for the Blink Stalkers to run away from. And this entire Blink Stalker force gets cleaned up. And Nemesis calls the GG. That is it. Wow, what an intense final game from this Tang Marches to Grandmaster series. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. That was really fun to cast. I hope it was fun to watch. If it was, hit that like button. Hit that subscribe. Catch me on future uploads of StarCraft 2 videos. I also do Hearthstone and Heroes of the Storm and stuff like that. But mostly StarCraft 2. Every single day I do one of those videos, so you can catch me on Twitch and Facebook and Twitter, all at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, you guys, take care of yourselves.